What are dogs? At first, the answer seems pretty simple. They're furry, four-legged companions to the humans that stay in our houses, who we feed, care for, and give love to. However, when you look more into who and what and why the dog exists, then you get to see some very interesting facts. Some that you might not have known in the first place. Dogs are much more complex than they at first seem to be. And today, I will be giving some interesting facts about dogs, go a little bit into the history of dogs, and finally talk about the psychological connection between humans and dogs. So, there are 150 breeds of dogs, and they're separated into 8 different classes: sporting, hound, working, terrier, toy, non-sporting, herding, and miscellaneous. So, I believe boxers are in the working class, whereas pit bulls are actually in the terrier class. And dogs do not sweat through panting. It's more like their version of breathing hard, like after a lot of exercise. They sweat through the pads on the bottom of their feet. Kind of like when you're nervous and your palms get sweaty. That's how they cool off. And dogs actually can see it in color. It's just muted for them. Kind of like when you have bad reception on your TV and it's kind of coming through, but it's still kind of grayish. So, and lastly, they don't have as many taste buds as we do, but their famous sense of smell makes up for it. So for them, it's just as important as it is for us to have food that tastes good and smells good. For the history of dogs, our relationship with dogs began up to 1,500 years ago. Potentially originating in Africa, where it is believed that the human race first started before spreading out across the globe. And it's possible that dogs traveled with us across the world, which is how we end up with dogs in so many places. We are an aggressively social species, as the wolves are that we first domesticated. So it is unknown whether the first wolf approached the humans or if the first humans approached the wolf. Either way, someone approached someone else, and it has evolved into what we have now. Back in the Middle Ages, they were considered status symbols. Most kind of like the Queen of England's corgis, her super famous corgis that are with her just about everywhere. And, yeah. And for the psychology, there are interesting parallels with humans. We are all territorial, and we are cooperative. We work together, just like dogs with hunting, or when you're working in a group project for, let's say, your online college speech class. And we all experience emotional bonding, even connected. We form these connections with each other, both humans to humans, dogs to dogs, and humans to dogs. Both humans and dogs adapted to each other. It's widely known that the wolves changed the dogs because human interference, but it is believed that we lost some survival instincts that we had before we had these connections, like a superior sense of smell because the dogs already had that and we didn't need to use it. Likewise, studies show that dogs' brains have gotten smaller because we do the thinking for them. And lastly, dogs have been proven to lower stress and depression because looking at them releases a chemical in our brain called oxytocin, which makes us feel better. All in all, dogs are a friendly, usually friendly, highly emotional, and sensitive species. They are quite beautiful to look at, and we have a real connection with them. And I truly believe that no matter what, when it comes down to it, dogs are truly man's best friend. My sources for my information, the interesting facts came from mspca.org. The history of dogs came from animalfreedom.org and quarter.us. And the psychology facts came from psychologytoday.com and humana.com. Thank you.